You know how you can read something 100 times, and then one day you see a secret that was hiding in plain sight? Well, that's what we're diving into today with Genesis 2:3. It says, "And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it." Sounds pretty simple, right? But what if that one little verse is actually the key to unlocking not just a day of the week, but our entire purpose? Let's unpack this together. This is really the big question we're going to be wrestling with. I mean, think about it. We are so obsessed with what we do, what we produce, our achievements. But the very first blessing that humanity ever bumped into, it wasn't a call to action. It was actually an invitation to just be.
All right, so here's our roadmap for unpacking this mystery. We're going to look at 5 key clues. We'll start with this hidden pattern in the creation story, this idea of a day without an end. Then we'll dig into what it even means to bless time itself. From there, we'll totally redefine rest, discover its hidden spiritual power, and finally, we'll zoom out and see how this one day could be a prophetic blueprint for all of human history. Okay, so our first clue. It's really interesting. It's found not in what the text says, but in what it doesn't say. There's this rhythm, this pattern set up in the creation story. And then, all of a sudden, it just stops.
That's right. For 6 straight days, you get that familiar line, and there was evening and morning, marking the start and the finish. But when you get to the 7th day, poof, it's gone. And the source material argues this isn't some ancient typo. It's a huge signal. It's telling us that the 7th day's blessing isn't just stuck in a 24-hour box. It's eternal. It's ongoing. It never really ends. And this table just lays out the shift so perfectly. For 6 days, God's working, and he's blessing his creation. The light, the animals, people. But on day 7, the activity changes from work to rest, and the blessing moves from being on creation to being on time itself. It's this holy interruption, a totally different kind of reality that gets woven into the fabric of the universe. And this gets to the core of it all. Before humanity was ever given a single job to do, they were given a place of rest. And what that suggests is that our fundamental identity, our value, it isn't established in what we do for God, but simply in our belonging to God. So that leads us right into the next piece of this puzzle. What does it actually mean for God to bless a day? Because it's way, way more than just saying something nice about it. Well, the secret is in the original Hebrew. The word for bless, barach, isn't a passive word. It's not a thumbs up. It's an active transfer of power. When God blesses something, he's literally empowering it, enriching it with his divine life, and stamping it with a sacred purpose. He's not just approving of the day, he's investing himself into it. So when God blessed the 7th day, he was basically turning a simple unit of time into a spiritual reality. He assigned it a unique kind of power, he gave it a spiritual identity, and he marked it out as sacred time. A little piece of eternity that shows up in our week, every week. I mean, just let that sink in for a second, because this is a huge insight from the source. Think about it. Adam's very first full day on the planet was a day of rest. His story didn't start with a to-do list. It started with stillness, with presence, with simply being with his creator. The first gift was peace.
And this naturally brings us to a major shift in how we think about this. If rest was the very first blessing, then maybe, just maybe, our modern idea of rest as just a day off from work is missing the whole point. This slide just illustrates the flip perfectly. The world's path, what we could call Adam's path, is that you work really hard to hopefully one day earn some rest. But for the believer, that whole model gets turned on its head. We start from a place of rest, knowing our identity is secure, and out of that rest, out of that sense of belonging, we discover our purpose. We're not working for a blessing, we're working from it. And here's where it all clicks into place. Jesus comes along and says he is the Lord of the Sabbath. He doesn't get rid of it, he is it. He fulfills it. Which means true, deep, spiritual rest is no longer about just observing a specific day of the week. It's about entering into a real relationship with a person. He is our rest. So if our rest is actually found in a person, and not just in a day, well then it has to be about more than just not going to the office. The source material describes it as an active, powerful, spiritual state of being. See, the Hebrew word for rest here is Shabbat, and it means to cease, or even better, to complete. God didn't rest on the 7th day because he was exhausted. I mean, the scriptures say the Creator never gets tired. No, he rested because his work was perfect. It was finished. His rest comes from a place of total fullness, not from a place of lack. And his power shows up in some really incredible ways. True rest is a form of reign. Think about it. A king rules from a throne, he doesn't toil in a field. It's about relationship, choosing God's presence over your own productivity. It's meant to be a deep delight, a joy, not just another rule to follow. And, get this, it's even a form of spiritual warfare. It's a powerful declaration of trust that says, I'll be still because the Lord will fight for me.
Okay, so now we get to the final layer of this mystery, where this whole pattern of the seventh day expands from just our weekly rhythm to a potential blueprint for all of human history. We're zooming all the way out here. So, drawing from passages like 2 Peter 3:8 that says, with the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, many ancient theologians saw this incredible parallel. They thought, what if the 7 days of creation are a kind of prophetic map for a 7,000-year history of the world? And this timeline kind of visualizes that whole idea. You have 6 days, or 6,000 years of human labor, conflict, and striving. Then that period is followed by a 7th day, 1,000-year Sabbath of rest. This is what the book of Revelation calls the millennial reign, a time of incredible peace on earth, which then leads into a new beginning, a new creation. So let's just trace that journey one more time. We've seen how the Sabbath has evolved. It begins as the crown of God's creation. Then it becomes a specific command for Israel in the Torah. Then it's totally transformed into a relationship we can enter through Christ. With the Holy Spirit, it becomes an identity we can live from every day. And ultimately, it points us toward the final promise of eternal rest. And that brings us right back to where we started, but hopefully with a totally new perspective. The very first thing God blessed and called powerful for us was rest. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. What would actually change in your life, in your work, in your worries, in your relationships, if you stopped striving for rest and started living from it?